First of all, congratulations to both of you. I love that this is a Los Angeles-based show, and I would imagine like if you live there, it's probably cool that you got to shoot there, considering you probably shoot all over the world as an actor. I was just wondering if there's something about LA that you learned about by shooting this show that you didn't know prior. Did it give you any insight into LA that you hadn't known, even though you might have been there for as long as you have? Keith, I'll start with you.
I've had the pleasure of shooting in LA through all of 24 and most. Not most of, but certainly a great deal of my career. What I was excited about wasn't so much what I learned about Los Angeles, but what we had certain locations in areas that people who watch movies would not normally see.
Huh.
So I felt like we were sharing aspects of Los Angeles to the world that they don't normally see in film. And I was excited about that. Los Angeles has a unique heartbeat, and a lot of people think about Hollywood or the beach, but downtown in East Los Angeles is really cool, and we showed that off, I think, in a really good way.
You know, I wanted to ask you, one of the cool things about this show is everything seems so practical. The action seems like it's really happening in camera. And Boyd, I was going to ask you specifically, like, was there an effect that was practically there on set that blew your mind? Just kind of like that was cool to see in person.
Yeah, it was just the magnitude of the ability to shut down entire streets, not just a street in Los Angeles downtown, is a feat in itself. You know, and the action itself, it was very practical. It was very functional. We weren't trying to pull any gags. It just stayed very true to the story, in the sense that it was all organically happening.
You know, you both have worked with some of the greatest filmmakers ever. Boyd, James Mangold, brilliant. Obviously, Logan was a masterpiece. Keeper, you've worked with some amazing filmmakers in your career. And I wanted to ask you, because Joel Schumacher, obviously directing The Lost Boys, an iconic masterpiece. But with Mr. Schumacher passing away recently, I was just wondering, when you look back on that film, what impact that had on you as an actor. I know you've discussed The Lost Boys probably at length in your career a million times, but looking back on it now, what did that movie mean to you as an actor, and what do you remember about working with Schumacher specifically, and how he affected you going forward as an actor?
Well, you know, I mean, the film was just, I love the material, so I loved working on it as an actor. But on a much larger impact level was Joel Schumacher. Joel and I had made 5 films over the course of our life. Flatliners, A Time to Kill, Phone Booth, Lost Boys. We were friends, and he was someone who trusted me as a very young person, who gave me respect as a very young person, which was hard to get at 19 or 20. I will never forget him, if only for that. But he was my friend. I think he had an incredible visual landscape going on in his head. When you take a look at the difference between a film like Lost Boys or Falling Down with Michael Douglas, I mean, it's night and day. I think he was an incredible artist. He was my friend, and he will be sadly missed.
This is an LA-based show, right? So I find it interesting when I'm assuming all 3 of you live in LA, or obviously you work in LA, obviously. When you shoot something that's in LA, do you learn things about LA you didn't know before? When you, Genesis, I'll start with you. What's something that you found out about LA that you didn't know prior to making the show? And I'll ask each of you that.
I had never been to Echo Park, and I didn't like. I had seen, you know, the swans, and I had seen it all. But like, to shoot a whole day there, I was like, oh, I love Echo Park.
Yeah,
I like saw a whole bunch of places that I never used to hang out in, and I really appreciate the east side of LA. Like, has so much to offer, such good food too. Like, I would sneak out and get like the street food, and it was great. I love shooting where I live. I wish it happened more often.
I know.
That's awesome. Natalie, for you, anything that you like picked up on about LA that you didn't know prior to shooting?
Man, I've been here for 17 years and I've definitely ventured off into these places, but I got to say the best part about this was being able to come home. Everything. Yeah, because every show I've ever shot, it's been out of Los Angeles. So the fact that I get to shoot, which I consider my city now, I've been here for 17 years, you know, My city's always Miami though, but we got a little LA in there. It's just being able to like go to work, come back home, like drive on the 101, get like, I don't know, just like being home really made it really special for me.
Totally.
That's cool. Tia, for you, is what anything that you recognize that you didn't know prior?
I would say I was fascinated shooting those scenes downtown, where we would like literally shut down entire parts of downtown LA in the middle of the week, in the middle of the work week. This is pre-pandemic, so it's like normal LA traffic, and doing these big sequences where there's an explosion, and then you've got ambulances and EMTs and tons of background and people that are supposed to have been like bombing victims and people on stretchers. And it was so fascinating to get to that's just exciting to be a part of anyway, wherever you are. And it was even more so, exciting because I'm like, we just shut down an entire part of downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And
no big deal.
It just feels like it feels exciting as an actor to be part of this like grand cinematic experience.
I'm so fascinated by the way Quibi works in regards to the camera on your phone. You can watch it either landscape or horizontally.
Mhm.
I was just interested for you as actors, did that affect it all the way you filmed, in the sense of knowing that you would be in a close-up somehow if somebody was watching it this way? Was that completely off the topic for you when you're acting?
I'm so happy you asked that afterwards. Oh. Yeah, I was like, I'm so happy you asked that after we shot, because of thinking the fact that we're on a phone this close might have definitely switched a couple things.
I actually, speaking of, I watched it like horizontally. Now I got to go back and watch it this way because I don't know what I look like this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But no, when you're shooting, it's literally you're shooting it just like a normal like TV movie. Just a little bit more exciting because every so often you have these cliffhangers that kind of come in. But other than that, we're shot the same, and then Quibi does its magic.
Yeah.
When you have an 8 or 9 minute episode, do you get to shoot? Do you know which episode you're shooting, or is it one continuous story like a movie that you just film? Or do they say you're shooting episode 1 right now, 2 right now? Because they're only 8 or 9 minutes. I feel like you could just film it as one movie, right?
That's what we did. Yeah, we basically essentially, if you had no idea that what the end game was, it felt like we were shooting a feature film. The way our shoot days worked, it just felt like we were shooting like a 2-hour, really exciting, thrilling, budget, big explosions, big, chase scenes and sequences. That's what it felt like. And it was only after the fact, I didn't even actually know how it was going to work because I wasn't really that familiar with Quibi at the time until I watched it last night. And I was like, wow, this totally works. I totally get it now. And like Natalie was saying, it's the only difference was that every few pages there was like this thrilling, edge of your seat kind of cliffhanger, which poor Nick Ventura had to write in every however many pages 8.5 minutes is. So it's very thrilling, it's very exciting, it keeps you on the edge of your seat. And Quibi, it's a really, really fascinating format. I haven't watched it on my phone yet, so I got to do that. Or maybe I don't, because I don't want to see my face like on it.